Welcome back everybody, it's Eddie here from Tyneside Live. So last night at the Man City match at the Etihad, you probably know that a couple of lads were locked up, a couple of Newcastle fans were locked up by police after an incident with flares just outside the Etihad Stadium. If you've watched my video from last night, the match day vlog, you'll have seen that I mentioned this particular incident. I actually videoed the whole arrest, but out of respect for the lads that were locked up, I didn't show any of the footage because I didn't know them personally and I didn't want to cause any potential embarrassment. So Helen and I are on the way to Manchester Victoria Station, and we've bumped into the lads who were locked up, and they'd like their opportunity just to tell you, the Newcastle fan base, exactly what happened, why it happened, and as a result what's happening now, because it's quite an interesting story. So I'll hand you over to the lads. First of all, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Mark, I'm from North Shields.
Sean and I from North Shields.
Sean, and so you're father and son. Thanks for coming on to the channel Tyneside Life, lads. And you're on here willingly to tell your story, to make it clear. From your point of view, do you just want to talk us through exactly what happened?
Well, basically, we'll come down on the bus just to enjoy the day. I mean, we didn't have tickets, but we're going to go to a pub and watch it on there and then go back on the bus because it's a good atmosphere on the bus. We decided to get off. I had two flares because I've seen a lot of flares go off at Newcastle, St James's Park. So I thought, well, you know, I know you're not allowed to take them into the stadium, so as soon as we got off the bus, they only last a minute, so we'll just set a black one off and a white one off, and then they lasted a minute, and then before then, we got just hand shackled by the police and carted off. And then they were trying to say basically that had pyrotechnics, right, but they're only flares and they only last a minute, and you hold them in your hand, so there's no risk of burning anybody, and we weren't around anybody, we're actually in the car park. Now, because Man City's classed the car park as being part of their ground, which we were unaware of, otherwise we wouldn't have set them off in the car park out of respect. We thought we're doing nothing wrong, and then it just backfired, and then we ended up getting lifted up, and this is us now on a Sunday morning, stuck in Manchester. Luckily enough, we managed to get money transferred into my son's account so we can get our train back to Newcastle, and then what's happening now is we're going to be bailed to come back to the Manchester courts on the 31st of October. Now, I think it's a bit far-fetched if you think that by letting just the flares off, I know it's inside the ground, I can fully understand, but in the way of out the way of everybody, it's just like letting fireworks off on bonfire night, right? Understand? It wasn't fireworks, we were just holding my hand, peaceful, basically not even demonstration, just a peaceful banter between us and Newcastle fans. No harm about it, and we just got victimised and just ransacked and taken away. And I regret now having done it, but I don't regret because the simple fact is if I was 20 metres behind outside the car park, I wouldn't have gotten arrested.
Thanks for explaining that, Marky. So going back a little bit, so you've got the flares. I think we're interested to know what the police said or did to you when they approached you. What did they say?
They just says, you know, that's illegal. You can't do that. I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not in the ground. And he says, no, it's illegal. Right, you're arrested, and just no explanation, just handcuffed it and took away.
So they didn't even give you any sort of warning?
No, they didn't
caution me or nothing. Just chucked me straight to the floor, handcuffs. That's it. Back to the van to the police station.
That's actually, I mean, I wasn't there, I couldn't hear the conversation, but I watched what happened and I videoed it all, and that's exactly what happened. You were handcuffed, you were actually wrestled to the floor by 3 or 4 officers, kneeling on you. I think they had your face on the gravel at one point.
Blew all over my body, aye.
Yeah.
Done us in the cells as well, aye.
What do you mean, what did they do to you in the cells?
Basically stripped us, battered us, you know, joke man. Tried to do us for criminal damage to the cell, that got thrown straight out by the sergeant, just liberty. I think they just had it in for being Geordies, you know what I mean, coming down here.
So in your opinion, do you think it was proportionate? Do you think it was they could have done anything else?
Yeah, they could have turned around and said, come on lads, you know you shouldn't be setting, I mean, I can understand in the ground, but that far, we're about 100 metres away from the ground, because you know you're not allowed to do that, right? It lasted a minute. By the time the first flare, well, the both flares went off, by the time they got to her, I'd already put the flares down on the ground and neat pile in the corner, out the way, right, and just made me way down, and then they just come up behind where the three of them come running down and just grab her, and then just abused her, like just hide her about all over the place as though it was some like mass murderers or something.
It looked to me, I mean, yeah, it looked like you've committed an offence. You know, you didn't know, was my understanding. It could have given you an opportunity to say, "Oh well, lads, pack it in, don't do that again," and that would have been the end of it. But no, they jumped on you, locked you up. Couldn't see the match, spoilt your day, spoilt your evening. You missed your coach on the way back. Took you to cells in Manchester. Yeah, I'm assuming interviewed you.
Yeah.
About the offence. Now you've been charged. You've got to come back in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Yeah.
At extra cost to yourself getting back on the train today. Just, it's shocking, really. You know, I was there. It was heavy-handed. 3 or 4 officers jumped on Shaun. You know, wrestled him to the ground, leaning on top of him. Just absolutely knee-kneed. But moving forward, I mean, you said before, Marky, that you might get a ban out of this. I know you haven't got a season ticket, but you might be banned from matches. If somebody from Newcastle United are seeing this, or you might have some sort of conversation with the club, what would you like to say now in hindsight about the incident?
Well, I've followed Newcastle all my life. I'm coming to 55 this year, and any opportunity I get to go to a match, I mean, I went to Wembley. I managed to get a ticket for Wembley. I went down there. I went down on the Saturday night to Trafalgar Square and that. I spent ample amount of money. If I've got whatever money I've got, I will spend on Newcastle United. And just for something stupid, so like minute as this, right? To get a ban, right? It's just going to destroy my whole life, because that means I can't go to the matches when I eventually do get a season ticket, which I'm looking to hopefully try to get to do.
So I'm not condoning the police actions. I'm not at all. It was heavy-handed and unnecessary. But do you regret what happened, what you did?
Yeah, because the fact is because of what's happening now, right? But, like I say, right, if I knew you weren't allowed to set them off in the car park, I wouldn't have set them off in the car park. Simple as that. Yeah. I would have just left them on the bus and just kept them for a birthday party for the children or something like that.
Shaun, any last words?
No, that's alright, sound.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's Mark and Shaun, father and son, involved in that incident last night at the Etihad, totally out of order. So I hope that puts everybody to rights on exactly what happened. You've got an understanding now. A lot of you will have your own views on what's happened. You can leave your comments below. But thanks for your patience for watching this. Thank you, lads. You know, for your opportunity to just tell everybody what's happened, and hopefully something good will come out of it.
Good, cheers.